Welcome, Dayton. The Little Green Dress presents Traditions and Legacies, where we discuss family traditions and discover your legacy. Now, listen with me as we remember what used to be. She is your host and author, and by she, I mean me, Kim Gresham. Today, my last guest, I saved the best for last. He is Mr. Jody Coleman. We don't know each other, but he's doing big things, a sports analyst, okay? Come on out, Jody. Yay! How you doing,
I'm good. How you
mister?
doing?
You doing all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's have a seat. Let's tell everybody how we know each other.
Well, Facebook is an amazing thing. Social media, you get to meet people from all across the country and in your hometown, and that's been my pleasure to be a friend of yours on Facebook, and a definite pleasure to be here. Is this real?
That is 100% apple juice.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it.
It is for the look only. We'll talk about that later. So, tell me a little bit about you.
Well, I'm Jody Coleman, just a guy from Dayton, Ohio. Have two beautiful children. My daughter is 24, just graduated from the University of Michigan with her master's.
Shout out, go girl, you do that.
I got Jody Jr.,
Come on,
which
Junior.
he's in Texas at UT Arlington. He's a sophomore there, trying to pursue his degree as well. I graduated from University of Central State University. I went to Colonel White High School, so I'm a local product, a local Dayton product.
Okay.
Sports analyst now. What I do with my full-time job, I'm a supervisor of a paper mill in Middletown, Ohio. That pays the bills,
Okay.
so but my passion is definitely sports and doing sports analyst, being
fine.
a sports analyst or whatnot. So that's what I do, and that's who I am as a person. I just feel like I'm a person of the community, someone that's always willing to help whoever, whenever. If I can help you, I will.
Thank you. I mean, I sent that invitation and you said okay without any hesitation. I thank you so much for doing that.
Actually, it's like an honor, for people to really recognize you. It's nothing that I take for granted in this world. So.
I have been watching you, and I know you work out. I know you are a fanatic working out. You are always in that gym, and I'll be thinking to myself, ooh, if I could just have just a little bit of that, I just don't want to go today. But you are in there working it out. Now tell me how you became the sports analyst.
Well, it's a combination of a lot of things. Anybody that know me since I was the age of 4, I wanted to do sports, and I am 45 years old. So we talking about 40 plus years of wanting to do sports and play sports or whatnot. So when the opportunity presented itself, so it was a funny thing. I was at a wedding with one of my good friends, T.L.G. Jones, and his cousin Asa was there, who was I didn't know it at the time, but was a soccer anchor in Los Angeles for Fox Sports. And so we got to talking about sports, and I've always been a person didn't need anything. I don't know why I know it. If I had this type of sports knowledge in the stock market, I would be a billionaire. And we just got to talking, and he just came and asked me. He said, "Do you want to do this for a living?" I said, "I would love to." He said, "Let me put a few phone calls in."
Oh my God.
And he made some phone calls for me. In 3 days, I was from Dayton in Los Angeles at Fox Studio. And this was 2014. Well, I went out for the interview, thought I did pretty well, came home, thought I was going to get it, but I didn't. I didn't get it, and it crushed me it crushed me, because I'm like, you get so close to something, but you're so far away from it. So me and one of my best friends, Gerard McCain, we came up with our own show called the Against the Grain Sports. So we started trying to do local sports. So we stopped. So in about 2017, 18, we just stopped. I was like, man, I'm done with sports. Forget it. It's just not gonna happen for me. Well, the pandemic hit, and for a lot of people, the pandemic ended up being one of the best things that could ever happen for me. So the pandemic hit, and TikTok came about. So I'm like, I'm looking on TikTok. This ain't for me.
Right,
This is. I thought it was for kids, But when I got back on there and got to periodically checking things, I started seeing people do sports. And I'm like, wait, this is what I do. So I got on there and started doing some sports. I told my story that I just gave you about the Fox Sports. And I got an inbox from a guy named Tony Kennedy. Used to play for the Dallas Cowboys back in 1992. And he inboxed me and he said, you really know what you're talking about, man. He said, do you have time to talk? I said, yeah. I said, when? He said, now. He sent his number in my inbox. Talked to him.
The football player.
Football player. And he got me into the game where we do something called the T.D. Report. It's a podcast out of D.C. So from that point, just 2 years ago, he introduced me to all kind of people. I've been at the Hall of Fame. I've been at the draft. I've been at the combine. I cover sports far as Ohio State, Georgia game. I'm at the national championship game on the field. So he introduced me to a guy named Marvin Chambers who has his own social media group out of New Jersey. He loved my work. He saw my work. He employed me. So that's how I got into the sports game. So my season starts back up, actually starts back up August 3rd. I will be at the Hall of Fame this year, and I get to interview all my legendary people that I love as a kid. This will be my second year. I got invited back, and they want me to do some commentary there.
Oh my goodness, if you just wait, you had given up and it came back to you. What's for you is for you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. God is moving in your life, and I'm so happy. I'm sitting up here amazed, like excited for you. Like when I see you on Facebook and see you doing those things, and I'm just like, wow, that is big. Like I was really, really happy for you.
I appreciate that.
So that's why I wanted to reach out and talk to you, because I know that you're doing really big things. So tell me about some traditions you had in your family.
Well, you know, tradition has always been sports. We're a sports family. So things that we did with the Coleman family, like I said, my dad passed away about 5 years ago. We would watch sports. We would go to my mom's house, whether it be the national championship game for football, whether it be the NCAA championship basketball, whether it be the Super Bowl, whatever it would be, we would go to my mom's house. And I got an older brother, older sister, younger brother, younger sister. I'm the middle child.
Wow.
And we all went over there to the house and we watched sports. That was our thing. My mom was really big into sports.
Wow, really?
So she, you know, unfortunately she's not a Browns fan, what I am. But yeah, that's what we did. That was a family tradition for the Coleman. Colemans are a sports family. My little brother, who I feel like I got a lot of knowledge, I feel like he has more than me. And when people say that, they be like, who has more than you? He's like almanac. And the reason why we even got like that, when we were kids, my mom creeped in. We would turn the TV down. I was 7, he was 4. We'll turn the TV down and commentate games. And my mom would sit there and like, my babies are on. Like, we'll turn the TV down and commentate games, and you wouldn't know the difference. And my mom, but you know, back in the day, we got, you know, Google and all that. But back in the day, we had encyclopedias.
Yes, we did.
So my mom bought us encyclopedias, and me and my brother would study the sports part of the encyclopedias, and we'll learn that. And me and my little brother had over 7,000 football cards. We would memorize the stats off of those football cards or those basketball cards or those baseball cards. And that's how, the funny thing, that's how I learned how to count by 7, because touchdowns were 7 points, and I learned how to count by 3 because the 3-pointers, it was crazy. Like, we taught ourselves a lot of stuff with sports. So that was one of the traditions of our family that still goes on today.
That still goes on to this day. I am reveling in this because you were doing this sports thing, commentating when you were little, had no idea. You knew you wanted to do this, but you didn't know it was going to happen. But you were being honed all the way up until now, all the way up until.
And it's crazy because there's no blueprint. There's no blueprint to get into this game, and I want to change that. Like, I presented my ideas to the Dayton School Board because a lot of kids would stay in school if they had something that they can gravitate to. And I told her, I'll do it pro bono. I don't do this for money. I do it because I love it. And it's a lot of kids that would love it, whether it be young men or young women. They can be, because I do a lot of writing. I write articles for the T.D. Report, my website. I write articles for the 4.0 Sports Media guy that I'm employed by, Marvin Chambers. So this is a national publicated websites that I write for. And I want to get back and it's like with me, I wasn't that great in a classroom in high school
Mm-hmm.
and in elementary school. Actually, I had a learning disability where I had needed help with reading.
Mm-hmm.
So from third to sixth grade, I was in those developmental reading classes. But one thing I could do, no matter what it was, I could do sports.
You could do sports.
Like you can tell me all this stuff about sports,
That's
and
your
I can
kids.
memorize it. But if you told me to take a spelling bee, I would struggle with it. Or if you wanted me to read this, I would struggle with it. But sports it was so fluent for me. So I'm looking at it from my perspective, how I can help these young men and women that may have a particular skill set that we're not homing in on because we're looking at I say the X's and O's, that's a football concept, but we're looking at the X's and O's and we're trying to teach these kids what we want them to learn instead of what they need to learn and what they would relish in, and they can be great. So I presented to the Dayton Public School Board. Hopefully I get some response back. If not, then I'm gonna take it and do it myself because I don't do it for money. I'll raise the money and put up my own money for the paper, for the computer systems. We can learn how to edit, we can learn how to write, format, and all that good stuff, and that's something I want to bring back for the city.
I love that idea. Just doing this, that brings me back to me and my grandbabies because I like to do a lot of things with them, and I like showing them how to do this kind of thing. We do it at home. I have a green screen, and we I give them a subject, and we try to make a news report about it. And I just use my grandbabies. The last one we did was Esther Price because she's from here, and that's tradition.
Yeah.
That's tradition.
Delicious chocolate.
Delicious chocolate. Esther Price is from here. She started all of that doing here, and so they did a whole new cast on it. And I think that you're right, trying to help the kids where they are, because just like you said, you couldn't do the schoolwork, but you could do that sports though. Easy, and that's where you excelling.
And I just feel like if, as a teacher or as a educator, we have to find what our kids are good at. A lot of times our kids are good at social media, and we tell. I used to be a substitute teacher, ironically, at Thurgood Marshall back in like 2014, 2015, and our whole policy was to take cell phones out of these kids' hands. But okay, why don't we use this method instead of, because they're going to buck against the system. That's just what teenagers do.
That's
what we did when we were kids.
You gotta do it. Everybody does it.
But guess what? If we make it where we can do assignments on their Google or on their phones and make their phones a part of our educational process, we got to start using what we have to educate our kids because we're falling so far behind. And I want to do my part, and I think sports would keep kids in school. I'm not saying it's going to keep every kid in school, but if they have something to gravitate to, some importance, a lot of times our kids drop out because they don't feel important.
That's real.
And I think sports, because everybody can't play sports, but you can talk about it. You can write about it. It's a lot. Look at ESPN. A lot of them guys never played.
Exactly.
Never played at the professional level, maybe not even played at the collegiate level, maybe not even at high school level. So you have these people, but they talk about sports and they make a good living at it. So why can't our people and why can't our kids do it? And maybe I can be that guy that can help you set that blueprint because you know how to be a doctor. They tell you, go to school, go to medical school, you become a doctor. You know how to be a lawyer. Go to school, you go to law school, you pass the bar, you become a lawyer. But how do you become a sports analyst?
Right. If you're not already in the sports, because it seems like you become an analyst after you retire from the sports, because that's what I see Shaquille O'Neal and them doing, you know what I'm saying? They come right over after the sports.
But even with that, you had to be a professional athlete, which is less than 1% of the world.
Right.
So how do you get there? My job is to try to have people, instead of taking the ladder away since I climbed up and then taking away and you figure it out on your own, I'm going to put another ladder down there so we can even go lower to get those people up there.
Come on with the ladder. I like that analogy right there. And being that you have been home to do this, I know you're going to do exactly what you say. You don't need an answer. You're going to go ahead and do that thing.
I'm trying to get an opportunity, but like I said, I am going to go and it's going to get done.
It's going to get done.
Because I just feel like that's my gift. I might not be good at anything else, but I am doggone good at sports.
That's sports.
And I'm good at leading people and leading young men because I was a coach and leading people in general. So it's just like that's what I excel at.
I want that for you. I really do. So now let me ask you the legacy question. If you were to leave this earth today, what legacy would you leave?
I love that question. That question is an amazing question, and everybody should have an answer to that question.
Everybody.
And my legacy when I leave this planet, if I stop breathing today, first of all, I want to be known as a great father.
Come on.
And the mother of my children did a magnificent job with our kids. They are my legacy. I got a son that has my name, that bears the Coleman name, and he can take that tradition. Unfortunately, I have a daughter. She will get married at some point, and then the Coleman name may not.
She can hyphenate it.
But I'd rather no, because I want whoever she's with, that man should be strong enough for her to follow and lead that man.
Come on.
We have to. I understand the hyphenated thing, and that's wonderful, but we have strong men. And a strong man, you need to take his last name.
Come on.
And I get it, the feminist movement, and I am all for it.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, tradition is tradition. Mm-hmm. We just asked the question. Tradition is tradition, and tradition is you take that man's last name if he's worthy, and if he's not worthy, why are you marrying him in the first place?
Say it. Say it.
Now, other things that I feel like my legacy is to set the foundation for a sports program in this city. Because this Dayton, Ohio, we're not Hollywood. We're not Atlanta. We're not D.C. We're not Dallas. But we can do what we want to do because I've seen so many great entrepreneurs. I've seen your guests that you just had on there, phenomenal people that was here. I listened to it. Yourself. And because this is something that I did early on. I did the Jody Coleman show. Mm-hmm. And I love it because I feel like that was a legacy for me. If anybody did any research, they'd be like, oh, he did this. Mm-hmm. And I want to give whatever I can to you because now I'm more into sports now. Like, this is what I want to do. So my legacy, I want to be known as a great father, a man of God.
Man of God.
A great leader, sports.
Of course it's sports.
I gotta be sports.
Got to be sports.
And just a loving person that's willing to do whatever. Mm-hmm. You know, I seen something on Facebook. My man Marlon Shackelford. If you don't get him, that's who you need on the show.
I have been trying to get Marlon on here.
Listen,
he won't answer his inbox.
He will. He's the only why he's not is because he's all over the place.
Busy. Yes.
So
yes,
it's not.
Yes.
Trust me. He's not.
I
He's
know
not
he's
like
busy.
that. But I just read something. He said, fix your crown, young man. Just because you made mistakes doesn't mean that makes you less of a man.
Absolutely.
And I just read that, and it was very, very powerful for me because a lot of times we condemn ourselves when we make mistakes as men. Because, and I don't want to go too far into this, but a lot of times men feel like we're only loved conditionally, not unconditionally. And a lot of us men, we make mistakes, and we're always judged by our mistakes a lot of times. And I am not perfect. I made 1,000,001 mistakes, and to be honest with you, I'm probably make 1,000,000 more. But it's not the mistakes that you make; it's how you respond from that mistake. And what I want to do with my legacy is for everybody to know I fell down a whole bunch of times, but I got up more times than I fell down.
Yes, you did. You kept getting up. You got to keep getting up. You cannot quit and you cannot stop. And I want to thank you for coming and blessing me with your story and your because I really, like I said, I watch you and I'm proud of you, and I'm glad that you are doing that. You are moving in your purpose. I'm glad that you're moving in your purpose. And I
don't know how much time I got left.
You can go.
I just wanted to, because I heard Bobby's story. And I can hear her from the green room. Shout out to Bobby. She did her thing. She's really growing as a person. She's a beautiful person inside and out. And I heard her say something about what we need to start focusing on too is mental illness, suicide. And if I may,
yes, you may
tell you my story.
Come
on. So I told you about the sports thing. It didn't go well for me. So I had got so depressed. I dealt with depression, and people didn't know that. Dealt with depression for a lot of, maybe 2 to 3 years, about with depression. And so you see the workout thing. So you're probably like, why do you work out so much? Why do you? It was because my pastor, Steve Saucer, and he's also a good friend of mine. We had a conversation, and I wanted to be whole spiritually, financially, and also physically. So I wanted to end it all myself. And God actually spoke to me. And a lot of times, people like God spoke to you. And a lot of times, to be honest, God has never really spoke to me. I think he did, but I knew he did on this situation. So about 5 years ago, I was going through in between jobs. I got laid off, got a degree, got laid off, was really hurt, and I didn't want to be here. So this is what I did. After I talked to him, after he prayed for me, I said, look, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get up, get out of my sorrows. I'm sleeping 18 hours out of a day, no haircut. You know, no. I said, get up, get out of it, and if it doesn't work for you, then we can revisit you not wanting to be here. But I felt like God told me to get up and work out, get back in the church. A job gonna come, finances gonna come, I promise you. And it was like, that's the only time I can really say that I crystal clear voice of God spoke to me 5 years ago. And when it started, and I remember this day clearly, 5 years ago on January 3rd, you know, everybody started on the 1st, I started on the 3rd of January 5 years ago. And I made it my business to work out daily, to run, to get back. I'm a former Marine, so it's like, you know, I got the heaviest I ever been. I was 265 pounds. I had cupcakes under my bed, because that's what made me feel okay, was to eat food, comfort. A lot of people walked out of my life, but I knew they didn't walk out. God told them to leave. They'll come back. He needed me.
By yourself.
And I got in the gym. I got back in the church. Not only did I get a great job, I was a supervisor at AK Steel, making more money than I ever made in my life. Now I'm a supervisor at a place called Graphic Packaging, making more than I made there. That was the first thing. Second, my physical body. At first, I did it because God. Then I had that little vanity thing, like, oh, but now it's a way of life for me. So when you see me working out, it's not trying to show out. It's to say, look, you can do it if you want to. You gotta want this, and I want it. So financially, I recovered. Physically, I recovered, and spiritually, I recovered. So now I want to give it to everybody. I want to tell this story, because this is not a story I would have told years ago because I was too embarrassed to say it. But yeah, I fell hard, and I got back up. I can do the traditions, I can do the legacy, and now I'm in the sports world doing something that I thought I could do, but now I'm actually doing it.
And you love it. It's not even like work.
I love it.
It's not even like work, because you love it so much. It's like a passion that you could talk about it and talk about it and talk about. Like, I can talk about that little green dress. I can talk about the little green dress from here, sun up, sun down, because I believe in it so much. You know, I believe that it's taking me different places. I know that it's taking me. I know that Jesus is putting these people in my life, telling me these stories. You know, your story is powerful. Somebody needs to hear that. Somebody could be on the edge right now. And if you are, please go call someone and talk to someone, because you are valuable. You are needed.
And you don't even have to pick up a phone, because God can hear you right now, because He gonna come and get you. He gonna come because He loves you. In the times you feel like He don't, because I thought that nobody on this planet or anywhere on this hemisphere, not even my kids at that point, I thought I was just out there, and I knew that's the trick of the enemy. And what you're doing here is so monumental and so instrumental to other people that you wouldn't have no idea. And I know your goal is to be syndicated. And I think with these stories and these people, with these awesome people that you getting on here, you never know. It only take one person. And my last thing before I go is, like I said, the TikTok. I didn't know this guy.
All right.
I have no idea who he was. And now we talk every day. We talk every day. But I also saw something on TikTok, and the guy, his name is T.L.G.D, the creator. He's in the music industry. And he said a story that always, like, if I ever get down, or I don't want to get up and go to the gym, or if I don't feel like going to work, or I just feel like giving up all the way together, I look back at this story, and he said that it was a guy that he follows people on YouTube, and he found a guy. Guy had 6 views. 6 views. So majority of the time, people give up when they don't have the views, or they don't have that. They give up. If you listen, do not give up. If you got 1 view, because it only takes 1 view. Tyler, the creator, found this guy that had 6 freaking views on YouTube, and now he's one of his artists. 6 views. You don't need 600, because you can have 600,000 views and then can't none of them people do nothing for you.
Right.
Or you can have one and he can do the world for
And he
you.
can do the world.
And that's when he said that, and it's so many other people, especially in the sports world, they look at what you're doing because you never know
who's watching.
And a lot of times the people don't know, and I'm not confirming this to be true, but it's people that work at these social media places or these like the ESPNs, the Foxes, and they have people go and they troll these pages to see what's hot. You know how many people that's on like the Start 3 podcast and now they're on like Pat McAfee, this guy, he just signed with ESPN, making the most money at ESPN or whatever. He make 85 million. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
And they found it because he started with a podcast. So you know, I do that every day. Every day I get on there and I do my podcast. We may not have the views that, you know, ESPN and Fox have, but it only takes one person.
It only takes one.
And that's how I live my life. It only takes that one person. And it only takes that one person for you.
It's only going to take that one for me. And I'm just going to keep on going until it happens. But guess what? For me, it's the journey. You know, the journey, meeting you guys, listening to you. And just like Tyler, you said you listened to that. I can come back and listen to yours. I can come back and listen to this and watch this and get some. I can come back and listen to Bobby's. I can go back and listen to Felicia, because the people here, we have phenomenal people in Dayton.
Absolutely.
We do, and everybody has a story. And I can take, you know, the positive and apply it to my life. You know what I mean? I'm going to keep on going simply because, you know, and I feel like I might want to do a little bit of exercise. I feel like I want to do a little exercise.
And that's the thing. When I get on there, you know, a lot of people may like, oh, he's doing this because he wanted. Nah, stop that. Right. And I'm not. And I'm gonna say it's like, oh, you're doing it for the women. Okay, if I did, that should be my business. But I really do it because it's somebody that, like you just said, they're not sure if they want to get up. They're not sure if they want to go to the gym. They're not sure if they want to put that cookie down.
Right.
And I believe in health. I went to the doctor recently, and they said I had high blood pressure.
I do too.
And guess what? I'm not ready to go yet.
No, I'm not either.
And if I'm going to go, it's going to be because God made the decision for me to go, not because I did something because I was being disobedient to my body. So when I look at the workout thing, like I said, you ain't got to go super hard. Just go and get the blood flowing. Hopefully I can be a motivating person, because that's why I showed the before and after picture, because I was not always.
I've never seen your before picture.
I'm going to have to show you.
I'm going to go back and see it. Go back and look.
I did one, and like I said, I was 265, and you know, when I got out the Marine Corps, I was 165. So just put that in perspective.
I was in the military too, so I know how that is. Well, all right, Mr. Jody. That is it. And I'm so glad I could just keep talking to you and keep talking. We keep going because I love positive. I can always go, but we have come to the end of the interview, and I just want to thank you for blessing me with your story, trusting me with your life, and telling me things. I really appreciate it. You can come back anytime.
Hey, whenever you want me. Like I said, the schedules fit the way it fits, and like I said, I love being able to come on there and to tell my story, because a lot of times people tell your story for you.
Right.
And have you ever taught, like, remember in high school, if it was 10 people and they all told the story, by the time it got to you, back to you, it changed a million times. But when you tell your story, nobody can change what you
it. Exactly, because it's from the horse's mouth. Absolutely.
And that's how I want it to be.
Absolutely. Well, all right. Give me much for. This has been the Little Green Dress Presents Traditions and Legacies. My friend Jody Coleman is here with me, sharing his word. Thank you so much, and come and see us again. Thank you for watching the Little Green Dress Presents Traditions and Legacies. Don't forget, you can see all our videos on my YouTube channel under the same name, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can purchase the Little Green Dress coloring books and books from Amazon.com, also from the Little Green Dress online. Thank you.